there's not many jobs where you get to see your work plastered all over a cinema screen and all around the world by millions of people. So you do get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I've always loved telling a story. I mean, I trained as an illustrator, so that was kind of a visual way of telling a story, and I guess I've transferred that now into visual effects and but as I say, kind of that storytelling part of it. The thing that makes me often gets me excited about a project, it tends to be the kind of the creative, I guess, the vision coming from the director usually, the story they want to tell and the visual way in that what they want to tell it. So I'm often kind of a fan of working on stuff where it's not necessarily groundbreaking technically. We're definitely trying to break ground in a visual way and trying to create a new way of telling a story through pictures. We're on really with the director and producer at the end, beginning, and finish with them at the end. So we're on for the longest time. During filming, we're there on set every day to kind of give our technical sign off to the way stuff's being filmed. Obviously, we try not to get in the way of the process of filming, but just to make sure that we're happy that we can achieve what we need to achieve with a scene, whether it be sticking something in a green screen in a window, or more importantly when we've got interaction with a CG character or something like that. And overlapping that can be still pre-vising, still doing concept artwork and starting shots, because often by then we will have started doing our digital builds of our digital sets, digital creatures with our facilities either in the UK or a lot of the time in Canada as well. Shot production is where visual effects finally begins, where we actually begin to put all the stuff into the finished shots. So, and often on a film like I've just done, that can be we had about 10 companies, and I'll be collaborating with the supervisor at each company, who underneath them has another load of artists. So in all, I mean, the last film, Fantastic Beasts, there's about 1,000 artists in all. So it's a lot of people that you're kind of leading the charge, really, trying to get it all done with all the various like trailer deliveries and screening deliveries and everything. It's certainly a roller coaster ride, and often quite up to the last minute, more up to the last minute than people realise, I think. When I first get a script, I tend to read it, and then then it begins the process of breaking it down, trying to work out with our producers what we think the visual effects will be. So often, you need to reach a budget first of all, so it tends to be breaking down a number of shots, the type of work, and then after that we'll begin as a sort of process working with storyboard artists, with a director. We can be a lot of the time now pre-vising, doing concept artwork. We'll begin collaborating with the various facilities that will be working, that we've chosen to work on the film, and once we're during that pre-production processes, that's almost one of the most creative parts of it, because you're creating what you're hopefully going to pull off in filming and in post-production. Going into the suitcase was kind of like, how's a man going to walk into a case? Because in the script it just said, and then Newt walks down some stairs into the case, and there's this amazing world inside it with all these habitats. And obviously a lot of the visual kind of like solving was Stuart Craig and Dermot Power, who was his concept artist, working with Stuart, and I worked with them very closely, and it was really an incredibly, I keep using the word collaborative, but it really was a collaborative process, because once we'd solved Newt going in, we tried lots of things. Would it be like almost an origami case that would unwrap? We tried things with like a film projector that he kind of walk in and magically be in there. And in the end, with the art department, we built a rostrum, put a hole in it, put a case on it, and then Eddie just walked down, and it was like, oh, that works. So it kind of fed also into the kind of 1920s kind of smoke and mirrors age of illusion that we wanted to try and create as well. But then inside the case itself, initially we between Dermot and Stuart and us, we kind of came up with the idea of lots of environments that would be in there, which were going to be photoreal. So Newt would walk into a forest, and it would be like, wow, we're actually in a forest with the creatures, and then you'd walk through an invisible thing into a desert, and then into the Antarctic or somewhere. And we put together a presentation with everybody's work, and then J.K. Rowling saw it and thought it was amazing, but she thought that a wizard more powerful than Voldemort would have been needed to create such a world, and Newt's kind of like a fairly good wizard. He's no Harry Potter. So Therefore, it kind of stuck with the same idea, but it became a lot more homespun. So Stuart went to the idea of that the environments would be more like museum or zoo dioramas with theatrical backdrops that would be painted, but then we pushed that a bit further by making them move like in Harry Potter films, but make them look like they're three-dimensional, even though they're not. We designed hundreds of creatures for the film. There were about 17 or 18 in the film in the end. And in that process, we were drawing stuff, we were quickly building stuff, animating them, getting their behaviour, sort of showing David so we could get it all on the move. And all this was built into the pre-vis. We taped out a sound stage with a version of the set, and then gave David my iPad, and then he recorded a rehearsal with Eddie and Dan, playing out the scene so that we could work out how David would like to see it. And then from that, we were feeding that back to Stuart so that we could see, well, this is where we need the set to be, this is where we need this item to be. And it ended up where we were in a meeting with the kind of final set as a model on a stage while we were shooting something else, and we literally drew green lines where around what we needed to be built, because there was a limited time to get it set up, and we made the rule that anything they interacted with would need to be built, and anything that they didn't would be digital. And really, when we stepped in there in January, it felt like a plan had come together. Bizarrely, I felt like I'd been on the set before, even though it had just been in the computer and Dermot's beautiful drawings and everything. I think the reason why on films I've worked on that we tended to work with more than one facility is it can be down to the amount of time we've got and the sheer number of shots. I mean, Fantastic Beasts was about 1,500 shots, which for these days, I think for a blockbuster movie is kind of like sort of a medium number of shots. So it can be for that, but often it's different facilities have different specialities. Some places might be good at creatures, some might be good at water, some might be good at effects, and you tend to want to collaborate with the best of the best. So by kind of cherry picking who you work with, you tend to end up with a team that can work together to produce the best pictures. We had one scene, one shot in there where we had there's a billywig done by NPC. He gets eaten by a doxy that Rodeo was doing, that gets eaten by a Whooper that Image Engine were doing, and the environment they were sitting in Method was doing, and in the background there's more stuff from Method and Framestore, so that was all in one shot. So the collaboration between companies across continents was amazing, and we literally worked to the last minute. I'm proud of what we achieved. I always look at stuff and think that could have been better, but I think in the time we had, it's a magical sequence, and it was amazing to be part of it. I'm a firm believer that if you really want to get somewhere, you'll get there if you're determined enough. I started to run at Framestore, where I still am now, and I guess it was hard work and perseverance that have got me where to what I'm doing today. I think now the world's changed a bit in that there's lots more people coming in to the industry from courses. You can do many courses in visual effects that many universities offer all over the world, and animation. And the work coming out of those places is amazing. But I think what you still don't have when you come out of there is experience. And I think that's the thing where people need to kind of like take stock that, wow, I know where the buttons are, but now I need to learn how to use them. The frustrating bit is, I don't know, the hours is an often, it can be. There's lots of VFX widows, I think, and widowers in the business. I think what I love the most is, I think, working with lots of amazingly talented people. I mean, I've been at Framestore for 19. I'm in my 20th year. And I've kind of got used to working at a place that gets to work with the best of the best. And certainly as my career's progressed, and now working on the features I'm working on, just working with people who just blow me away in what they can achieve and what they can and whilst being amazingly nice people as well.